It's 8:33. I'm Tom Whalen with our Shockley Honda Pet of the Week, Snowbell. Dee Dee, get up to the microphone there that Dina was right on, and get right on that microphone. I thought this was just a kitten you brought in here.
No,
I mean, she
is,
looked like she was like less than a year old.
She's tiny. She is 5 years old, say her owners, who brought us to her. And I was just saying before we came on that we get about an average of 20 pets a day. We don't actually get 20 a day because we may get 40 on a Saturday and then fewer on the weekdays. But she has a typical story. Snowball's 5 years old. Her family had her for 5 years old. They got her from a friend who had an unspayed cat. And they kept her for 5 years. But she disappeared for a week, and she came back and acted differently, they say, and they did not want her anymore.
Well, she could have gotten a cat fight. Something could have got her. Anything could have happened to her to traumatized her. And so after 5 years, they take her to the shelter and say, she's off our hands, she's yours.
Right.
You have such a nice attitude about that.
Well, we hear that a lot. And what I try to do when we take an animal in, we try to ask people for more of the story because there's usually more to it. For example, a lot of people will say they have to give up their pet because they're moving. But if we ask them, if you weren't moving, would you keep your pet? Well, no, because he barks. So there's usually more to the story. All we know about her is that what they wrote down was that she disappeared for several days, and when she came back, she had a different attitude, their words, and they didn't want her anymore. They have a dog, and they have a family with kids, so she has experience with all those things. And as you can see...
That's it. She's saying, call.
Yeah, call.
Vote for me.
Also beautiful.
She's beautiful. I'm a cat lover. I've never seen a coat quite like hers.
It's called Lynx Point, and it's believed to come genetically from the same genes that Siamese comes from. So only her paws, tail, and ears are colored, and they're tabby colored. And then, of course, she has the typical Siamese blue eyes.
Dee Dee, I read in the paper over the weekend, it was a New York newspaper, that in New York State, cat populations have exploded. They're doing everything they can to give free spay and neuter clinics. They have mobile clinics. It's out of control, and this is not owned cats, or these aren't even really feral cats. Please explain.
Right.
People think they're doing a good thing.
There is a class of cats that we call loosely owned, and they are the cats that people kindly and generously put out food for. They might put a little house out for them in the winter, but it's not their cat. So they don't get her or him spayed or neutered. So what happens is cats can have kittens every 2 months.
And they can have 6 to 8 at a time.
Sure.
And this is something my family would have been guilty of forever and ever. Oh, we've got to put some food out for this kitty. And your heart is in the right place.
It is right. What you can do is the Humane Society and Animal Welfare League offer options for inexpensive spay-neuter like Quick Fix. I think is in March, but we also have a grant from the Snyder Foundation. If you cannot afford to spay a cat that you would like to be responsible for, call me at the shelter, 301-600-1735, and the Snyder Foundation will pay for you to spay your cat.
There you go. Hey, she is a beauty. You hear her saying, come, give me a home. She's got a coat like I've never seen before. She's 5 years old. Snowbell, our Shockley Honda Pet of the Week. She is getting quite the audience here in the studio. She is a sweetie. Thank you so much, Dee Dee, for bringing her